In a world where silence once protected the powerful, two brave voices have risen, echoing through every corner of the entertainment industry. Oat and Boat, known for their charm and calm grace, have stepped into the storm that has surrounded Yu Menglong for months. Their message was simple yet powerful: justice must be heard, and truth must no longer be buried beneath fear and influence. Before we go further, don't forget to subscribe and join the growing community that refuses to stay silent. Because in this story, every viewer, every voice, and every heart matters. It all began one late evening when a quiet post appeared on Oat's social media. Just 7 words, yet they sent an earthquake across fan communities. "We stand with Yu Menglong, truth will speak." Within minutes, Boat reposted it, adding nothing but a single teardrop emoji and the word enough. The message spread like wildfire, reaching millions before the clock struck midnight. No one knew what truly happened behind the shimmering curtains of the Beijing elite, but one thing was clear: something dark had been hidden for far too long. The night that followed was nothing short of cinematic. Fans gathered in live streams, discussing the cryptic statements. Some said Oat and Boat had uncovered something inside Qihao Museum's restricted archives, the same place where Yu Menglong's name had mysteriously vanished from public records. Others whispered about late-night meetings, coded messages, and conversations that hinted at manipulation from those above. The air online was electric, charged with speculation, heartbreak, and courage. By dawn, the campaign had taken shape. Hashtags surged across social media, uniting thousands under one phrase: justice for Yu Menglong. Supporters lit candles outside studios and agencies, holding quiet vigils that stretched into the early hours of the morning. Videos surfaced of fans holding handmade signs, their eyes filled with tears, their voices trembling but steady as they called for transparency. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Boat reportedly reached out to several former colleagues of Yu Menglong, gathering fragments of truth that had been buried by the weight of fear. There were whispers that someone powerful, known only as She Brother, had used his influence to silence those who dared to speak. Oat, with his calm but piercing presence, confronted a studio executive during a private event, asking one question that would later go viral: how long do we keep punishing the innocent for the comfort of the corrupt? The tension grew unbearable. Within days, Beijing's entertainment world was shaken to its core. Reports suggested that a hidden tunnel beneath the Qihao Museum had once been used as a meeting point between industry leaders who made decisions that shaped careers and destroyed reputations. And somewhere deep in that story lay the truth about Yu Menglong's disappearance from the spotlight. As the media tried to twist the narrative, fans refused to give up. Every post, every comment, every heart reacted with fury and loyalty. They demanded evidence, transparency, and justice. Oat and Boat became symbols of courage in an industry long dominated by silence. And though both faced threats and career risks, they stood firm, refusing to retract a single word. One particularly emotional moment came during a live broadcast when Boat, his voice trembling with emotion, said, "If friendship means anything, it means standing with the truth, even when it hurts." The silence that followed was so deep, so sincere, it felt like the entire internet paused to listen. In the following weeks, a leaked recording surfaced allegedly capturing a heated conversation between Yu Menglong and an unnamed producer, revealing pressure, betrayal, and emotional exhaustion. Fans dissected every second, their hearts breaking as they realized how much he had endured. Through all of it, Oat and Boat continued to post subtle but powerful messages, promising that the truth would not fade. And it didn't. By the time international outlets began reporting on the movement, Yu Menglong's name had become a symbol of resilience. His face appeared on murals painted by fans in cities from Bangkok to Seoul to Los Angeles. The campaign had grown beyond a fandom, it was now a global movement for truth, integrity, and emotional justice. The final moment that shook everyone came when Oat, during a live concert, paused mid-performance. The lights dimmed, and his voice, raw with emotion, filled the arena. "This one is for Menglong. Wherever you are, we will not stop until the world knows what really happened." The crowd erupted, chanting his name, chanting justice, chanting truth. And in that moment, the boundaries between celebrity and humanity disappeared. The fight was no longer about fame, but about the soul of an entire industry. The echoes of their voices had already spread across the internet, but what came next was nothing short of a storm that tore through the quiet walls of the industry. When Oat and Boat took that final step, it was no longer about fame or fear. It was about truth, loyalty, and the fight for someone who had been silenced for too long. The night after their statement, Beijing was awake. Every screen was filled with the same name, Yu Menglong. His story was no longer buried under layers of secrecy. Oat had gone live, his voice shaking, his eyes heavy with exhaustion, but his words struck deep. He spoke about the nights Menglong would stay late on set, practicing scenes long after everyone had gone home, his quiet nature hiding a pain few ever saw. Then came the line that broke the silence, he was framed. And we all knew it. Those words hit harder than anyone expected. Within minutes, Boat joined the live stream, confirming every detail. He talked about the whispers in the Qihao Museum tunnels, the missing files, and the secret meetings that had been erased from the record. What Oat and Boat revealed wasn't just about one man. It was about a system that thrived on silence, about people who were too afraid to speak, and about a truth that had been hidden for years. But the most emotional moment came when they played the final recording, a voice message from Yu Menglong himself. His tone was soft, fragile, but steady. He spoke about loyalty, about pain, about the way people change when power blinds them. His final words were quiet, but they carried more weight than any headline could. If truth costs me everything, then let it be so. Just promise me you won't forget who I was. The world didn't forget. Hashtags flooded every platform. Fans across countries started trending one phrase, "Justice for Yu Menglong," and by dawn, it had reached millions. People who had never heard his name were now searching, learning, and demanding answers. Even the biggest agencies couldn't keep the silence anymore. Statements were released, investigations reopened, and those who once distanced themselves from him were suddenly posting apologies and explanations. Oat and Boat didn't stop there. Days later, they appeared together at a press event, their expressions calm but firm. They revealed the evidence they had gathered, including photos, scripts, and contracts that tied the truth together. Their courage reignited hope for those who had lost faith in fairness. The air was thick with tension, but also with something new. Justice felt possible. Behind the cameras, Bai Lu was seen arriving quietly. She had worked with Yu Menglong in the early days and had remained silent through most of the controversy. But as she stood near the back, her eyes glistened with tears. When asked why she came, her reply was simple yet heartbreaking. Because he was one of the kindest people I ever knew. And he didn't deserve what they did to him. That moment shattered the room. The journalists stopped asking questions. The flashlights dimmed. Even the most skeptical faces softened. For a brief moment, it felt like everyone finally understood. By evening, Oat and Boat released one final statement online, a video titled "For Menglong." It showed unseen footage of him laughing on set, helping crew members, and rehearsing lines with the same passion that once made him one of the most loved actors in China. The video ended with a single line of text on screen. He didn't fall. He was pushed. And we will not let him be forgotten. The world reacted. Millions watched the clip within hours. Fan art, letters, and tributes poured in from every corner of the globe. What began as a story of silence had become a global movement. Even celebrities from other countries started speaking out, calling for fairness, unity, and reform in the industry. Late that night, Boat posted one last message on his social media page. "We fought for truth, not fame. And though we can't bring back what was lost, we can make sure it never happens again." His post went viral instantly, shared by thousands who felt the same weight in their hearts. For Oat, Boat, and everyone who stood by Yu Menglong, this wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something greater, a movement that would redefine how truth is told and remembered. The silence had been broken, and for the first time in years, Beijing felt the power of voices united for something pure. And though Yu Menglong himself remained unseen, his presence was felt everywhere, in the words of those who loved him, in the tears of those who missed him, and in the courage of those who refused to forget. His story didn't end in the darkness of that tunnel. It rose from it, carried by the very people he once inspired. And as the world whispered his name one more time, it wasn't out of pity or curiosity. It was out of respect. Because justice, no matter how long it takes, always finds its voice. Sparkles, if you believe in justice, truth, and loyalty, subscribe and join us. Because the next story, the next revelation, might just change everything again.